Hello, everyone. My name is Sebastian Park, and I'm from FindingSolo.com. I was a developer on most of the project, and I'm here to talk to you about some of the technical nuances about the Facebook Data Miner and Questionable Content Finder, which is one of the two products available on FindingSolo.com. It's a pretty cool project, and I just wanted to go through a couple of things for technical end. So I just wanted to preface this. This is for technical ears mostly. You can listen to it, and I encourage you to if you're interested in some of the stuff we discovered. But this was a timed occurrence, and we had a lot of things that we were looking into, and I just wanted to share since this is, after all, a GNU GPL open source release, and I feel if anyone wants to take up our project and run with it, that these are a couple ideas that I would float to them as something that they should look into, and something that I'm going to constantly look into in the future. First things first, which is on the Finding Solo website, you can find our documentation under the Facebook Data Miner tab, and it has a lot of good information. Mostly it links to and references a lot of the stuff found in our code repository. You can find our code repository at code.google.com/p/facebook-data-miner-and-questionable-content-finder. Boom! Facebook doesn't like underscores for some reason, so we use a lot of dashes here in the name. In retrospect, we might have wanted to stop after Facebook Data Miner, but Matt, being the other main developer on this, really liked this long, somewhat wordy title, so he kept it. It's again keen to know that it is under release under GNU General Public License v3 and all the things that are associated with it, and you can find information out here. But additionally, it's also you can go into source, browse, and find all of the different like information. The trunk, we have the user stuff, we have the Facebook miner information, we have the trunk itself with the different Facebook user 2 and 3. All versions that don't work as well, but have different ideas and different concepts that were thrown in there that didn't quite make it. So all that source is there, and just as a proof of its ability to be seen by anyone, we go into incognito. Go there, you see no one's logged in, and we can still download these files. Sign in, go to code review, and everything works. So yeah, this talk will pretty much focus on two main things, which are the two different aspects of the first one being about our questionable content. And so I just like to preface this that our questionable content is, for those who don't know, Facebook Data Miner scrapes your Facebook account for information and different wall posts and postings, and then runs it through a filter of our own like self-created array of bad words. Basically, it's words referencing actually sex, drugs, and alcohol and drinking. Things that are said in the comfort of friends, I'm sure, but aren't something you would want to see, say, your great grandmother or your uncle or aunt or your boss seeing. And these are very real possibilities on Facebook. And so it's been posed like, how do we come up with this stuff? And so I wanted to give you a hint or an explanation of how we came up with it. And the explanation's here, urbandictionary.com. Matt, the other developer, Cam and Chris and I were sitting in a room one day and just trying to figure out different ways to really come together with a list of words. And their suggestions were to, put together a list of things that we felt reference like sex, drugs, and alcohol. However, a much better way that came to being was the use of Urban Dictionary. For those of you who don't know, Urban Dictionary is a user-submitted website of words and phrases that reference specific things in pop culture and just culture in general in the United States in English. You can see a couple of things I've never seen before on the front page right here. And it's interesting. So the way we did it was that I put together a script that scraped Urban Dictionary. And the way I scraped it was I used a tree functionality. So we set up 3 basic words: sex, drugs, and alcohol. Let's go to alcohol. Alcohol is the most interesting one, I think. In alcohol, we see drunk, beer, drinking, booze, party, vodka, drugs, etc. Sex. Sex comes up, wasted comes up as well. And what we did basically, what the script went through, copied all these words, but then also searched for the words themselves. So we'd click on drunk, and then it would search and copy all these words, and then it click on wasted. And then once it got down and saw a repeat, to go back and then try check the other ones as well. And we let this run for a few hours, and because it's it's somewhat recursive in the sense that it goes on, and you have to stop after a few hours or after a few iterations because it's, as you can see, like wasted references drunk and drunk references wasted, and it's iterative, and we had to like start over and write in a code phrase to stop it from re-clicking on words already stored, and that took us some time to write the code. But generally speaking, what we did was we took drunk, we got alcohol, saved all these words, and then clicked through and found all of them and made an array of the various words referencing alcohol, the various words referencing sex, and the various words referencing drugs. A couple of issues did occur from all of this. One of them was just the sheer volume of mixed company here, which is to say that like alcohol, sex, and drugs reference each other a lot. So because we ran the searches separately, when we compiled the list together, we had multiple repeats of specific words. We also had issues with words that generally didn't mean bad things. A really good example is that in referencing sex, for example, women and girl come up multiple times, and it makes sense because you know what they say, when you crowdsource on the internet, we have always these issues with sexism and all these like impolite and generally offensive terms come up, and it makes sense that you know women, woman, and girls would be referenced, and we had to basically go through all three of our searches and erase things that we felt and this is I realized a not very productive process. But for example, when we type in alcohol, college, strangely enough, is a big. I mean, not strangely, it's very common in college. So college shows up often. But when we reference college, we don't feel that's a questionable content. You can reference college however you want. So unfortunately, it was somewhat of an unscientific process, but we did go through and get rid of words like college, girl, woman, women. We got rid of job. Job was in there for you know reasons that you know I'm not gonna go into, but I'm sure you guys can all come to that conclusion. We also got rid of stuff like fun, gone, although it's referenced in a lot of drunk phrases. It's also the case that you can say like where do you John was gone by the time this happened, and so we got rid of that as well. We also got rid of party because although we kept party actually that in the revision. We added stuff back in, and it was an involved process. But it's Urban Dictionary, and using a nested search through Urban Dictionary, I feel, is by far one of the best ways to compile a list of slang words. And I think it's something that people should look into. Urban Dictionary as a reference to discover how modern culture uses different words. The second thing I want to really go into is the power of our mind function. And this is some stuff we didn't go into in the instructional video, and it's stuff that like originally was available on the first versions, but because of the new profiles and a lot of the bugs we were having, we had to scrape it from the final version. But it's something that we can definitely do. And the thing that we're talking about here, as I mine Christopher Musco's page, another one of our members of FindingSolo.com, is the idea of linking people to other people, and the idea of like making a web of information of questionable content and whatnot. Chris has no questionable content. He's a very upstanding individual, but it's interesting to see that when we have all his user data from all his people who post on his walls, his friends essentially available, we can click through these, and if their profiles are open enough, we can definitely see all their posts and run a recursive call that not only checks Chris's posts, but also the posts of all his friends and wall posters, which makes it very interesting because with that information, we can then move on to have a further data collection and get a better sense of who someone is, who their friends are, and just compile an extraordinary amount of information. And it has been said that that Facebook allows you to download your own content or your own profile and your pictures and whatnot, but there's nothing protecting Facebook from me downloading your information. uh, through a tool like our Facebook data miner. And there's definitely no protection from an employer downloading not only the information of yourself, and yourself might be very secure, but if you have a few wall posts available, then we can definitely scrape that information from your friends, for example. And so, since generally friends are even in the most private profiles, and I would say my profile is pretty private, so I'm gonna go to it right now. Uh, wait, no, that's not it. Where is it? Yeah, even the most like private profiles. So let's look up a person like Christopher, and then let's mine his website for 3 seconds, and I'll show you, I think, a good example of someone who has a very private profile. Nandu, for example, is I think not someone I really know, but it seems very clear that she has a somewhat private profile, but you can still see her friends and who likes her stuff and her interactions with them. And if any of these people had open profiles, because they're listed in our, and we can mine for her friends as well, we can then take this information and go forward to find more information about these people and get better sense of who these people's friends are. And that's something that I really want to look into, and something that I feel is a very good part of the Facebook data miner's power, and something that if you're interested in looking into open source, you should explore. Also, if you guys want to like hit us up, it's as a developer, we feel free to email us. Our emails are basically our names at yale.edu. So at the bottom of the page here, you see the different names. Three of us are computer science majors, or some kind of computer science major. That's Cameron, Christopher, and myself. And Matt is an economics major, but he was a good sport about all this. So that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to say best of luck to anyone attempting to do more coding on this. We fully encourage it, and if you need any help, please contact us. This is Sebastian Park signing off for FindingSolo.com.